NFL Week 7 is over. I know I'm posting this a day later than I usually do, but still before the next week. We'll start with Houston, since in my picks I broke down the Seahawks game on the Thursday night game. So we'll start with Houston. Case Keenum really did not look too bad. The good thing, he did not throw an interception, and that's something Schaub was doing with quite frequency. Keenum looked okay, and I'm wondering if they'll continue with him as a starter because he didn't look bad. For Kansas City, there's a lot of talk like, oh, this is a Week 7-0 team. They're not as good as their record shows. This is a legit 7-0 record. This team is very good. They are balanced. They can throw the ball. They can run the ball. They have a great defense. I think they're going to really go far this year. So don't be surprised if this team continues to win and advances far in the playoffs, because this is a complete team, more so than any other team in the AFC right now. For Baltimore, they look like a lost team. They just lost an identity. After winning the Super Bowl, they lost a couple key players, and they look totally different. They used to be based around the run game and defense, and they've gotten away from that, and it doesn't look the same type of football that we've seen in the Ravens the last few years. For Pittsburgh, they're not out of it yet. I discounted them when they were 0-4, but now with 2 straight wins, they could start moving back into the thick of things, and this is a team to look out for. They have a lot of experience. For Chicago, that defense just not good enough. I was really buying into this team, but watching them the last couple weeks, just their defense isn't the same as it used to be, and it's not going to be good enough to win the NFC North, and so I doubt they make the playoffs, and that's kind of a bad year for the Bears if they don't make the playoffs. For Washington, that offense really stepped up against the Bears. Getting that last drive to score the touchdown was very good, and they're going to need to do that because their defense is horrid. Tampa Bay, Vincent Jackson is quietly having a great year. He's on pace for 96 receptions and 1,450 yards. So, guy can catch the ball, and on a bad team, I'm impressed with the way he's performing. Great player. For the Falcons, they really need to get their players healthy. It's hard to judge this team right now. It looks like their season's a little bit down the drain, and it's kind of unfortunate because injuries really impacted this team this year. St. Louis, the Bradford injury just kills them. It looked like they might have a little bit of a shot, but that injury just absolutely kills them. So they're going to be looking towards next year, and I'm sure they'll be looking to see if Bradford's a long-term deal and how to improve that run defense. For the Panthers, Newton did exactly what he needs to do. He didn't try to force anything. He was very efficient, 15 for 17, and if he can continue to do that, the Panthers will continue to win games. The Bengals, they know how to win close games. Against good teams, they've gotten a couple big wins, and they're looking like they're going to start running away with this NFC North here. For Detroit, are they a good team? I'm still not sold on them. They're just so inconsistent week to week, and I have to blame a lot of that on Jim Schwartz. I think consistency lies within the coach getting them pumped up for every game, and I don't think he's been able to do that this year. San Diego, Matthews, his awakening has been great for the Chargers. He's on pace for 1,000 yards, and that's something I think people didn't expect of Ryan Matthews, and although he had the talent, I think people kind of started to count him out. So that's great that he's having a huge season, and it's helping the Chargers a lot. For Jacksonville, they burned me again on my pick. They got to win sometime, so I know they're going to win, but I don't know if I'm going to pick them again because they screwed me twice now. So they'll get a win sometime. I don't think they'll go 0-16, but it wasn't this week. Buffalo, I think that coaching staff is phenomenal. To get Thad Lewis winning games, stay close every game. This team is really good, and I think in the next few years this team's going to going to start becoming one of the powerhouses, and it's going to have a lot to do with the coaching staff. Miami, that sack really killed them at the end of the game. I mean, they've had trouble protecting the passer a lot this season, and that sack just killed them. So they really need to get that pass protection game going, and if not, they're going to be out of it real quick. New England, Brady is having a not very good year by Brady standards. He was 22 for 46, and when you don't complete 50% of your passes, you start looking like a bad quarterback. Now, Tom Brady is not a bad quarterback. Everyone knows he's not a bad quarterback, but he's certainly looking like one in some weeks. It helps to get Gronkowski back, but he needs to complete more of his passes, and that can't all lie within the receiver's fault. For the Jets, run it, and run it some more. Chris Ivory had 34 carries, and when they run the football, they win games. This is what the team needs to be built on, is defense and running, and the coaches really got back to that in the second half and got that win for them. Dallas, I think they just won the NFC East right there with that win over Philadelphia. So I think they'll start cruising a little bit here and set the cruise control a little bit and drive down the highway to an NFC East victory. Philadelphia, how bad were they against Dallas? They were Matt Barkley bad because Matt Barkley is awful. I think it was his first 3 drives he had interceptions. That's not good. It's really not good. And they're going to have to figure out something because it's good they have Mike Vick back this week, but Matt Barkley should not be on an NFL team if that's the way he throws. San Francisco, they've won 4 in a row now, and they need to keep running the football, and I think they'll keep winning if they do. Tennessee, fourth quarter, Locker looked great when they opened him up a little bit. I think Jake Locker has the talent to throw, and they need to really let him loose and let him go. I know he was dealing with an injury a little bit, so it's not a terrible loss for the Titans. I think they're still in the race, but they definitely need to let Locker loose. Cleveland, Brandon Weeden is just killing them. I mean, 17 for 42 is not good. They've lost all their momentum and looks like they're going to fall back into the ashes. Green Bay is one of NFC's best teams. They looked a little bit weak at the beginning of the season, but they have an established running game now with Eddie Lacy, and with that passing game with Aaron Rodgers. This is a very, very complete team, and I would not be surprised if they made some havoc in the NFC West, or in the NFC playoffs. For Denver, that pass protection looked a little bit weak against Indianapolis. But what bugs me the most about that entire game, I wasn't really rooting for either team, but it bugged the hell out of me to see the play calling at the end of the game. Peyton Manning's driving down the field. He is Peyton Manning, and he is making Peyton Manning-like throws. And you hand it to a known fumbler who fumbles the ball a lot. On 1st and goal, after you had this amazing drive and you were about to look like you were going to win the game, you give it to Ronnie Hillman. Come on, Denver. Give it the ball to Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is your team. Peyton Manning is your identity. The passing game is your team. The passing game is your identity. Throw the football. For Indianapolis, don't crown them just yet, guys. They, I don't think, are a complete team. I still think they still struggle running the football. Don't crown them. There's a lot of they're kind of all the rage right now. This team is awesome, and they're a very good football club. But they are not the victors yet. They still have their weaknesses. They were able to shut down Peyton Manning for much of the night, but there are weaknesses with this team. So just watch the next couple weeks. I think they'll drop a couple down the stretch here. For Minnesota, why are you not giving Adrian Peterson the football. People can comment all they want about how terrible Josh Freeman was, but give Adrian Peterson the football. You give the ball to Josh Freeman 53 times, let him throw 53 times. I don't care if you're behind or not. 53 times, and you let Adrian Peterson carry it 13 times? This is ridiculous. He is the best freaking running back in football. Give him the ball. For the Giants, they got the win. So now what? I want to see where they go from here. It's good that they got a win under their belt, but we'll see how they use it to their advantage the next few weeks. That's it for my Week 7 breakdown. Check back next week for the next breakdown, and in the next couple hours, check for my Week 8 picks. That's it for me. Check out the blog. Follow me on Twitter. You know the deal.